Brace yourself, for you are about to infiltrate the sinister demimonde where society's most calculating predators mask their pathology. I speak of the sociopaths, psychic con artists lacking conscience's checks, hunting vulnerabilities to manipulate through camouflaged exploitation. You inevitably cross their dissociated wakes daily, your reality's silent sleeper cells. For while the moral navigate ethics prisons, their aberrant neurocircuitry remains untethered by limits. Hollowed-out human mimic operatives solely driven to satiate ungoverned impulses through any underhanded means. Prepare to unmask the thermographic signatures of these psychoparasitic agents before their mimetic toxicity envelops your headspace utterly. 1. The psychic voidcraft deception. Pay utmost heed to proclaimed intimates, whose emotional depth reveals itself as a Stygian void, an interpersonal vacancy lacking authentic reciprocal warmth. When they profess their supposed love, does their sociopathic soullessness radiate in indifferent silence, hollow disconnects, and unflickering eye stares utterly devoid of connective resonance? This absence of human soulprint is ground zero's red alert. 2. Linguistic kill switches. Once a sociopath's interests veer from utility, their language bio-neuro pathways flatline, triggering conversational entropy to deaden empathic discourse like linguistical kill switches. Listen for zero solicitation of your inner experience, emotional vacuums, derailments into objectifying word qualysis, pathological word salads, and a profound inability to thread cohesive narratives of shared feeling. 3. Pathological slipstreams. During their masquerades inevitably fractures, the sociopath's false mask briefly slips into transparency, revealing their true disordered nature. These pathological slipstreams manifest as sudden vacuums of affect dissonance, such as flashes of coldness descending like an inscrutable blankness disconnecting their presence, lapses into motionlessly glazed dead eyes, derailleurs of indifference toward topics of empathic resonance, or blunt shifts into ruthless pragmatism divested of all compassion. 4. The intermittent reinforcement gambit. Sociopaths are hardwired with aversion to empathic mutuality, yet their parasitic phenotype survives by securing relational commodities through zero-sum manipulation routines. Prime among these is their cyclical intermittent reinforcement gambit, alternating love-bombing idealization dressings with withholding degradation punishments whenever compliance wanes. This biochemically hijacks insecure targets into trauma-bonded desperation for reprised intermittent crumbs of feigned affection. 5. Abuser grooming. Algorithms. Early in the predation cycle, sociopaths studiously groom their targets by over-provisioning need fulfillment through excessive adulation, flattery, apparent care, and rapidly accelerating intimacy enmeshment, disarming naive parties' instinctual defenses. Such ambitiously profuse affection is their emotional vampirism's stealth infection vector, eventually draining victims' psychic self-integrity until the parasite irreversibly self-transplants as their sole relational lifeline. 6. Objectifying word salads. For all their superficial glibness, sociopaths possess dissociated personalities whose only consistent behavioral trait is profound intra-personal schism, so their outwardly channeled narrative streams inevitably veer into semantically deconstructed word salads, evincing an absence of any binding psychic subjectivity or coherent inner experience. Rather than human self-disclosure, their expression fragmentation bombs into detached object analyses, emotional reductionism, and desublimated externalizations voided of resonant selfhood. 7. Relational tally reckonings. At their core, sociopaths experience reality as a zero-sum game of dominance versus submission. Accordingly, their interpersonal dynamics are tainted by a ruthless subconscious tally reckoning system, constantly scoring transactional debts, credits, exploitations, and one-upmanship wins, converting relationships into emotionally inhumane cost-benefit calculi. If you feel your bonded depths treated like behavioral economic scorecards, you've glimpsed their systemic duplicity. 8. Dehumanizing deflators. Behind closed doors, sociopaths inevitably deflate their masks to regard relational partners with thinly veiled dismissiveness, disregard, derision, and objectifying dehumanization. Their sole motivation is securing alluring narcissistic supply. So once a target's idealizing novelty fades, all pretenses to care regard are gradually shed to overtly demean, condescend, insult, and blatantly disrespect and diminish their prey's human selfhood to re-establish dominance. 9. Sadistic pragmatism, blindsiding. Lacking empathic intuition, sociopaths process human events as pure behavioral data for leveraged optimization, utterly indifferent to feelings. So when their pragmatic inconvenience thresholds are breached, they blindside with blunt, rational-seeming cruelties. The emotionally sentient could never perpetrate without severe ethical remorse. This callous utilitarianism and refusal to honor moral boundaries or experiential impacts is their core psyche's tell. 10. Relational terrorism campaigns. Once ensnared in a sociopath's parasitic dramatis personae, their true thespian repertoire extends from malignant idealization, debasement cycles into full-blown antisocial behavior terrorizing their targets. Gaslighting and denial of objective reality, rampant, punitive abandonment and engulfing, rejecting gambits, routine, projection of their issues, constant. Such black holes of relatedness systematically deplete all light from their prey's fragile world until only void remains. This forbidden catalog has activated your psychic security matrices to the most predatory phenotypes, invisibly parallel processing our reality's mainframe to corrupt its sustainable biosystems. Quarantine yourself accordingly, my friend, for their pathogen of unbeing seeks only to transmutate all into the lifeless antibody it mimics. Awaken or be reprogrammed into its karmic extinction meme.